Hey guys, I'm going to try to not touch my face in this video because apparently I've been watching some of my videos and I'm a face toucher. So I'm going to try really hard not to touch my face. It's bad for you anyway. Just coming from an esthetician, you shouldn't touch your face. But I want to talk a little bit about portion control because out of all the things that have changed for me, I would say that this is the biggest change, like the most drastic, alteration of my body and also my behavior that I like my the alteration of my body came first and the behavior change has come second, and I have to really work on what I'm picking for myself because my eyes are way bigger than my stomach now. So yes, the portions that I can eat now, like starting out at the beginning of puree phase, I could only put down 1 ounce of my puree soup, and I felt like ouch, like it hurt. Now they do give you at the hospital, they give you some medications that you can take to help alleviate, the discomfort of eating. I haven't taken them. I really haven't felt like I needed it. The puree soup, I just stopped. I just stopped where I needed to stop, and if I felt a little discomfort. But in the beginning, I definitely got some sharp pains in my stomach and under my left rib when I would eat 2 ounces. It was a half an ounce more than really what I really should have put down. Now my understanding is that my stomach is about 3 ounces. It's about 3 ounces, and it is about the size of a string cheese stick. So I can't, I'm gonna change arms here because I'm holding my camera. I can't take more than 4 ounces. Now it depends on what it is. So my max is 4 ounces, but so I can have a whole sugar-free pudding cup. But before, I could only eat, at the beginning of puree phase 3, the 3rd week, I could only take in about 1.5 ounces of the pudding and about 1 ounce of my soup that I made. And I made a crap ton of soup. I mean, thank God my husband, my child ate a lot of it, but it was such a huge portion. I was gonna be eating that for 3-4 weeks, if I had done it myself. But the puree soup was a lot heavier, and it was beans. So it was a Tuscan white bean soup that I made, and so I was trying to get in as much protein as I could, and the soup was a lot heavier than the pudding was. So at this phase, I'm not really trying to count. I mean, I'm barely getting any carbs in the first place. My carbs are way under 20 because I am focusing on the protein, but there's a little bit of carb creep in there. But I'm not worried about it because honestly, I'm taking in so few calories right now and feel energized. So I feel good. So it's not a problem. It's I feel fantastic. So that's not a problem. But the portions, back before surgery, I could, go to a Mexican restaurant, get a big old plate of food, and I could probably eat the whole thing and then eat some of my daughters. And so, not my finest moments, but my hunger level back then was just so intense, and I had stretched out my stomach. And I think one of the resolves that I've made for myself is making portion control a big part of my life, which is a lot easier now than it would have been 2 months ago, because my stomach was different, and that little voice inside my head just be like, eat more. I could try to eat 3 or 4 ounces of my food if I was really trying to diet, but my brain would not shut up. And I needed it to shut up, and the surgery provided the shut up, put a stopper in my tummy. So the feeling now is a little discomfort, but that initial pain from the puree has gone away, and I can eat more at this point. I'm in the soft foods phase, so I'm eating around 3.5 ounces, 4 ounces of food, and I'm eating very, very small bites and chewing them really well. if they need any chewing. Like I'm not like avocado, it melts in your mouth, so it's not really an issue. Eggs, I just make sure that I'm chewing a lot and everything's going down really good. I haven't really had any huge stomach discomfort, but if I do like even a half ounce more than what I should, yeah, it can be painful. So a lot of people are struggling with, like what's the limit. The problem is that the stomach, the cutting the stomach, and the vertical gastric sleeve, it's just so immediate, and your body changes that fast, but your brain hasn't caught up yet. So portion control, I basically just stuck food inside of a little cup, like a 1/3 ounce, 1/3 cup, and that's what I'll eat. And if I feel like I can eat another bite, then I'll eat another bite. But like I said, it depends on the food. If it's protein, like if it's shrimp or chicken, it's gonna be like I'm gonna have to cut back a little bit. But then if it's something like the pudding, or I've had some Greek yogurt, and what else have I had? I'm trying to think. The eggs, like eggs I'm gonna eat less of. Pudding I can eat more of. Avocado I can eat more of. It just depends on the food, and I've slowly, eased my way into eating a little bit more at each visit. But I really don't know if I want to go past where I'm at right now. The reason is, and they say that like you can eat 6 ounces, but the reason is that I've noticed that the days that I ate a little bit more and I felt that really intense fullness, like if I did that at night and I woke up the next morning, like my hunger pains would be more intense. And so I don't want, for me personally, to experience that too much. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick with the 3 ounces of food and just eat more frequently. Now there's been some advice on the board not to do that, to do, like your 3 meals and just be done. But that's if you're eating like 6 ounces of food and you're getting enough calories. If I'm going to only eat 3 ounces of food, I'm going to need to eat more frequently. And I feel like that works better for me, because that's actually the opposite of what I used to do. I used to just go super long periods of time and not eating. And then when I was ready to eat, I would binge all of the food, like whatever I wanted was delicious, and didn't like vegetate on the couch. Like I'd work a really long, hard day, and then, and in my industry, like we're known for, like we don't take breaks. It's back to back and clients are in and out, and I work in the beauty industry, and we joke, like we're eating over the trash can just as fast as we can, and then we're dumping the rest in the trash can and going. Like there's no breaks. It's just eat as quick as you can and go. And for me, I just got in the habit like years ago of not really eating food throughout the day, and then just waiting until I was off, just work my 6-8 hours solid, and then get off and then just go eat. And a lot of times I didn't eat breakfast, so like I would just go through the whole day just starving. But my body could turn off that for whatever. If I was busy, like I didn't really pay attention. Now I was diagnosed with ADHD, and that's probably what my issue, like why I could do that, was because my brain could ignore the hunger signals. But yeah, so portion wise, I don't really want to stretch out my stomach, so I'm going to eat 3 ounces. That means I'm going to take little cups around with me, and I'm gonna measure stuff, but also I need to pay attention to what I'm eating. So chicken or shrimp or eggs, or I haven't ate steak yet, but like if I eat steak, I'm gonna have to portion out smaller amounts. I'm gonna have to measure everything, because I just don't want to get to the point where I have sharp pains in my stomach, or feel like, the other feeling is that it just like gurgles up my esophagus. And I'm not, like I've said in other videos, like I don't really throw up, but I can feel like when I'm basically topped off, and like it's not staying all the way down. So it's not a pleasant feeling. I've had the least amount of that with shrimp. Like it's sits really well in my stomach, but it really is like, you take a small bite, you chew it forever. Like I don't even mean like the 25 chews, I mean like 75 chews, and then you put it down and you wait. like you take a minute. It's like those breaks between when you work out and you're like heavy lifting and you take 90 seconds between, like heavy lifting. It's like that. You're gonna take a small bite, chew it a whole bunch, and then put it down, and then wait 90 seconds or whatever, until, just to make sure, like, wait until it gets that stomach, and then it will tell you, like, okay, like it's good, like, good, I can have another bite. But the thing is about that is that if you do that, and like, say you're having, like, my favorite thing now is to have conversation meals. So like, I have to wait between bites. Like, I love to have conversation in between bites. I never used to do that. I would just inhale my food and tuck in it. You belly up to the table and tuck in, and inhale my food. And now I really slowed it down. I feel really good about that because, and I'm trying to teach my daughter to do that as well, because like just taking the time to have a conversation at the table, like, is so nice. And, I never felt that way before, and I want to now. I was just so hungry, I just wanted to keep eating. But yeah, like you just have to pace yourself, and the thing is like, if you do that, if you're pacing yourself, you're really experiencing the food for much longer, and you feel like you've been eating forever, so you're just ready to be done. Like, you're not, like, it's not like as if you before surgery you were like starving and you wanted to eat, and then you only eat a little bit of food and then really want more. It's really like, I have been eating for like 25-30 minutes very slowly. I really feel like I experienced my meal, even though I only had 3 or 4 ounces of it, because I really chewed it, I really tasted it. And actually, after a little while, the taste wasn't that great after chewing it 75 times. And so it wasn't as exciting, like, it's the law of diminishing returns, right? My mom always used to talk about that, which is that if, the first 2 bites are great, but after that, it's like you've already experienced it. And so I think one of the reasons I'd inhale my food was because if you chewed it a whole bunch, it didn't taste like it originally tasted when it hit your mouth. And so that was that law of diminishing returns, where the food just did not have the same effect. And so having it be like that 3 weeks out, I mean, I think I've noticed posts on the groups that people are freaking out, like, oh my God, it's like, I'm so over this, like they're having a very emotional meltdown as they realize that physically they cannot, like, enjoy their food the way that they used to, and it's almost an emotional breakup. And I won't lie, like, I feel the same way, but I think for me it's really been liberating in a sense, because I felt almost trapped by food, like I do love food, and I'm really excited for food. Like, I really am still excited to experience new foods, but I know I'm only going to eat a very small amount, and I could take 4 1-ounce bites, and eat the way I used to, but rather I'm taking very, very little bites and really, really enjoying it. And so I'm still experiencing it and enjoying it, but it's not as exciting as it once was. And I am glad for that personally, because I know I needed that detachment from it. I needed that reward system to go away so that I could change my behavior. And I am changing my behavior, but it is still a challenge to change the behavior. It's still a challenge to, like, reverse 30 years of eating habits, because, or 40 years. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'm not 30, but like 10 years old was pretty much where I started this journey, like, of like starting to diet and everything, because I was way overweight at 10, and I started gaining at 8, and by 10 I was obese as a child. So reversing those 30 years of bad eating habits and bad relationship with food, I needed that force. But to say it is an emotional challenge. Like, I've watched other people in the groups really go through this, like, very upset, crying, talking about, like, just being absolutely, like, inconsolable, because, like, food was a comfort for them, and it was a comfort for me too. And detaching myself from that was a very important step in making this change in my life. And you know, I'm nowhere near my goal. I'm barely out. I have no idea if I've stalled, and I'm not going to find out if I'm stalling because I'm going to only weigh myself once a month. So if I do stall, I might make changes, you know, and I might, you know, get a little bit more protein and less carbs. But like I said, my body right now is only taking in 400 calories a day, and it's really not accustomed to that, and it's in a mode right now where it's not I'm certain I don't, because I'm not measuring, it's hard for me to be absolutely sure that that's what it's doing, but scientifically I know that my body is freaking out. And but it'll settle into its groove. It will keep going. Like, this is a long-term thing. I want to lose like 10 a month, but you know, all of these adjustments are happening right now. Like, my progress isn't just measured in the changes in my body. The progress is really measured in, you know, how I'm changing my behavior and how the surgery has helped me make those changes. And I think that if you go into it with that right mindset, you're going to be more successful, because I'm seeing so many people who are not being successful with this. I just saw a post, you know, saying, it didn't work for me, and I'm getting like 2,000 calories a day, and I'm eating like, and she's like, I eat protein, I eat vegetables, and I eat pasta and rice, and you know, like, I'm like, you can't eat that stuff. It's gonna slide right through you. It doesn't matter if it's you know, if it's a small portion or not. Like, and she's like, I feel bad because I go back for seconds. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna go back for seconds because that stuff slides right through. The slider foods are not gonna hold. You have to eat the protein and drink your water in between. Like, this is a huge behavioral change, but so many people do not make those changes. And so unless you make the changes, the stomach thing is just a tool, and it works. It's working in the sense that it has changed my behavior, but it is not, it's not going to fix everything for you. What you put in your mouth still matters. So just keep that in mind. You've got this.